Okay, by now I'm making sure that you have no doubt about object and class. If any doubts, let me know at this point. No doubts, right? You all know what's a class and what's an object. So there are some principles which we use to develop softwares of this object oriented stuff, which we call as object oriented principles. So one of the important and the first principle is inheritance. So what is inheritance in general? You will inherit something from your parents. That is inheritance. Like you may look like your parents, or you may inherit your parents' property. So in the same way, in programming also, you can inherit things from classes to other classes. Okay, so let us see. Theoretically, inheritance is a concept where one class share the structure and behavior defined in another class. Practically, we'll see that stuff. For example, there may be a class called bicycle. Okay, and there may be different types of bicycles. So what are the different types of bicycles? There may be mountain bike. Okay, there may be road bike, and there may be some other bike called as tandem bike. Okay, so all these are of class bicycle. These are not objects, these are also classes. And objects are, who's got disconnected? Is everyone in? Prakash got disconnected. Okay, so objects are, you can create many objects of mountain bikes, M1, M2, M3. You can create objects of road bikes, R1, R2, R3. So these are objects. You can create objects of tandem bike. So for example, the road bike has its own own characteristics, but all the bicycles have some proper characteristics, like it will have two wheels and a seat and a paddle and all those things. Okay, and yeah, you're connected now, right? Cool. So bicycle is, now in this example, bicycle is a super class or parent class. Mountain bike, road bike, tandem bike, these are child classes which inherit the properties in bicycle. For example, in bicycle we have some methods and functions, we can inherit them to these other things. We'll see in a simpler example. For example, I'm creating a new package. I'll call it object oriented. Okay, I'm creating a new class. I'll call that class as I'll call that class as some library X, whatever name you want, you can name it. I don't want a main function in it. In this, what I'm going to do is, I'll create a function called as add. How do we create methods here? Public static, I'll have a return type integer, and the function name is add. I'll start with small letter add. Okay, so here what I will do is I'll take two numbers as parameters, integer a comma integer b. I hope you all know what is this. And here I'll take another integer result is equal to a plus b, and I will return the result. Cool, right? We have a function now, already defined function called add. In some other program, in some other class, I'll have a main function here. I'll have a class called as calculations or something. Okay, here I have different set of numbers. Integer a is equal to 10, B, C, D, E. Okay, we have some sets of numbers over here. Okay, and I want to add a couple of numbers and print the result. Like I want to add a plus b and print the result. I want to add a plus c and print the result. So I'll have something called as integer result. Result is equal to null. Null means nothing first. Okay, now I'll say result is equal to addition of a comma b and print system.out.println result. In the same way, I'll print result addition of result is equal to addition of a and e. But the add function we wrote in another class. How can we use it here? How can we inherit from that class? Add function is not there in this calculation class. We did not write it anywhere. But I don't want to duplicate the code. I want to use the existing code. The function is already existing over here. So I want to just use it. I don't want to rewrite it. In that case, what you can do is you can inherit from the parent classes. How to inherit? You'll go to your class and write extends and the class name which you want to extend. What is the other class name which I want to extend? Library X, but it is in another folder called object oriented. This calculation scene is in another folder called as pack1. So okay, let us extend library X. Okay, when you extended, because it was in another folder, it also added you an import statement, import object oriented dot library X. What is object oriented? Object oriented is the cool. Instead of null, we'll make it 0 here. Now you can run this program as it is. Now you can see there are no error messages with this add function. So if you run, it will just give the result as it is. Likewise, you can define any function in some other class and you can use it over here. You can define a function here stating, now anything in this you can use it over there. Okay, for example, I am creating a public variable, public method, okay, public static name is equal to Kiran. If I go to the other class, Why is it showing an error message? String integer data type name is equal to Kiran. If you go to the other class and just say system.out.println name, we did not define name anywhere over here, but it inherits the name from the other class. When you run this and print it, it will print the name. Whatever you have in inherited class, parent class, you can use in this child class. How to inherit? Using keyword called as extends and the class name. Okay. I think that's pretty much about inheritance. Let us stop the recording. Right. The next concept in object-oriented principles is called as polymorphism. Polymorphism means working in more than one way, working in multiple ways. Like if you write a function and if it is working in multiple ways, it's called as polymorphism. Polymorphism you can demonstrate using two things: function overloading let's say method overloading and method overriding. Let us first see what is method overloading. The definition of polymorphism is a characteristic of being able to assign a different meaning or usage to something in different contexts. It may sound a bit weird, but when we practice, when we do something, it will be very easy. So function overloading. What is this function overloading? Function overloading is nothing but you will have functions with same name but different signatures. So what are signatures? Signatures are nothing but the parameters which you pass in. Let us do an example. So new class I'll call it function overloading. Okay, right. So let us write some functions first. Let us write a function to display name. If you pass a name, it will display the name. Okay. So I'll call the function as public static void, and the function name I'll call it as display. Okay, and whatever you write inside this, that's called as signature. So I'll take string name and I'll just print the name. So this is the function. Now if you call display and give a name, we'll just say hello and the name. Okay, and when we give a name, and run it, it says hello Kiran. That's fine, fantastic. We can have the function with same name and no parameter inside it. Then we can write different thing in it. It will just say hello there or something, whatever you want. So if you, the same function you can use with different parameters with same name. So if you run this, the first one is saying hello Kiran, and second one, if you don't give the optional parameter, it's saying hello there. So if you pass on something, it is calling this one. If you are not passing on something, it is calling this one. You can have in different ways, like the same function if you give two names. Or you can say first name and last name. Okay, it will say hello first name and space and last name. Okay, and we'll have one more function called as display, but this time we'll take integer and we'll display integer into, we'll do something like this. Okay, so if I just say display, what happens? It will just call this one and just say hello there. If I say display and if I give a single name, it will run and print the single name. If I say display and if I give two names like first name and last name, Kiran, Kumar, when I run it, it says hello Kiran Kumar. If I say display and give a number, and I give a number, suppose I give 3 and run it, it's giving 1. So I'll say 3, any number into, I'll make it 10 times and display something, some calculation. So when I run it, it will give 30. So if you give a number, it is behaving differently. If you give different parameters, if it is behaving differently, it depends on the signature. Signature is nothing but what parameters you pass on and what you write inside it. This is called as function overloading. Okay. The next one which we are going to see is called function overriding or method overriding. So what is method overriding? Suppose we have a main class called as animal and we have subclasses called as we have a main class called animal, and I think all animals move, isn't it? So we have a method called move inside it, and we have different different animals which inherit from animal parent class, like bird and we'll take only 2, like we have bird and fish. bird also moves. Fish also moves, isn't it? But bird moves differently. Bird flies and fish swims, isn't it? Okay. We can inherit the main characteristics from the parent class, but we can override it with the special characteristic of the child classes. Okay. We will do that practically, then you will understand what it is. So first, I'll create another package to differentiate. I'll call this function overriding. Okay, in this I'll create a class called as animal. Okay, in animal class I'll have only one method called as move. Public static void void move. Okay, in this I will write system.out.println this animal moves. Cool, we have animal class ready. Next we'll create bird class. I'll call this class as bird. Okay, in this class I'll just extends animal, because I need the functionality from the animal class, and I'll write the function called as move. Okay, cool. Why is it showing an error message? MOVE public static. Oh. Okay, we don't do anything right now. Sorry. No. Okay, just leave it. Okay, we leave it blank at the moment. Okay, so we are inheriting something from the, okay, sorry, it's importing something from move. Okay, we are inheriting something from the bird, that's all right. So we'll create one more class called as fish. Okay, this one also I'll just extend animal class. Now I'll create one more class just called as I'll call it test class, to create some objects. Okay, in this class what I will do is I'll create some objects. How to create objects? How to create a bird? Just say bird b1 is equal to new bird. Employee e1 is equal to new employee. Do you remember? It doesn't need to be b1, it can be anything. You say parrot. Okay, next I'll create a fish. Fish, capital F. Fish Nemo is equal to new fish. Okay, now I can just say system.out.println parrot dot move, because in parrot we did not in bird we did not write anything at all. We did not write anything, but because we are using inheritance, it is getting this move function into the bird class. And when we created an object called as parrot, that move function is automatically inherited to this. So you don't need to say system.out.println. You can just say parrot.move and run this. So when you say parrot.move and run this, what does it say? This animal moves. Very good. And we have another animal called as Nemo, the fish. Nemo.move. Okay. And when you say Nemo.move and run this, it will say this animal moves. Because in fish class also we don't have anything, but we are inheriting from the parent class. What we can do using overriding is we have a facility to override what we get from parent class. We know it moves, but parrot has some other feature like it can fly. So what we'll write is we'll bring the same move function here and modify it, saying that this bird flies. Okay, and we'll go to the fish and say this fish swims. Okay, right, but we need to add something else called as, we need to add an annotation called as @override. Override. Okay. What's it? So remove this. Okay. Okay, so we have these methods and we go to our test class and run it again and see what happens. Now it's saying this bird flies and this swim flies. You don't need that override method on it from this version of Java, I guess. Okay, earlier it was saying this animal moves, but now it says the fish, the bird flies and fish swims. This is called method overriding. That's all. That's it about it. So today we don't record it from IDE. Whatever we did yesterday, we'll do it manually. Okay, so in RC I'll create, I don't see yesterday's any of the stuff. Did we do something yesterday? I see the project, but what did we do? Yeah, this one, hello.java. Okay, so I'm creating a new package. I'll call that package as BBC tests. So today what we'll do is we'll just go into BBC, click some links and come back. Okay, so first, how do you write a test? Right click, new class, isn't it? I'll call the class also as BBC tests or something. Okay, so the first thing what you had yesterday is a function called start. So if you see hello.java, you will have a function called setup. We are not using this before and test right now, but when I teach test ng or JUnit, I'll tell you what it is. Now what I'm doing is, we'll take this stuff. We'll start the Selenium server. To start the Selenium server, I'm just using these two things. But first we have to define Selenium. So I'll just say public Selenium. So it says you don't know what Selenium is. So I'll explain you what it is. Okay. Now what we are trying to do is, we are trying to create we don't want this private as well. Why do we need this? Like as I said, the Selenium server, we are using new Selenium server. So I'm creating an object of Selenium. Okay, I'm creating an object of Selenium with different parameters, with different functions and different parameters. So what are these functions and what are these parameters? We'll see. So actually, while teaching overriding, I missed something, I guess. So if we go back to I can create animal in some other way as well. Where is the test class? Test class. Okay, so instead of creating animals like this, I can create animal parrot is equal to new, I can say bird now. A combination of stuff. Okay, and now I can say animal Nemo is equal to new, what is Nemo? It's a fish, isn't it? Fish. And we have some other animal some frog is equal to, I don't know what kind of animal it is, so I'll just say new animal. Okay, now if I can say parrot dot move and Nemo dot move and frog dot move. Okay, so when I run this, for the first two it has errors, it seems. Where do I have errors? In the BBC test. Okay, no problem. Okay, when I run this, it says this animal moves, this animal moves, this animal moves. If you go back and use the override method, override. Why am I unable to give the override method? I will get rid of the statics. I'll go back to animal class, get rid of the static. Now if I use this override method, annotation, you call it annotation, and go back to our test class and run it. See, it was saying this animal moves, this animal moves, this animal moves. All these are animals, so it's only getting from the animal. Now when we overrided it, it says this bird flies, this fish swims, and this animal moves. Okay, so when you use override, it will take from the child class. When you don't use override, it will take from the parent class. Okay, in the same way, now we are writing something. Now we are writing from Selenium class, we are creating a Selenium object. Okay, and this is another child class in Selenium class where we are creating this so that we can use the functions inside the child class. So we have some parameters over here. Local host is nothing but the address of the Selenium server where it is running. It is running in your machine itself. Yesterday we saw how to run it. I'll show once again. So you have to type java -jar and Selenium server.jar. So it will start the server. Because it is in your own machine, you are just giving the name as localhost. If it is in some other machine, if the server is in some other machine, you will give the IP address of that machine. Okay, and 444 is the number of the port. These two remain the same always. Star Chrome is your browser. So what browser are we using now? Firefox. You can even write star Firefox. Star Chrome is not Google Chrome, it is Firefox. So to avoid confusion, I am writing Firefox. Okay, and then you will have the URL. What is URL? The site which you want to visit. Okay, it takes 4 parameters. This default Selenium thing takes 4 parameters. The first one is localhost, second one is port, third one is browser, and fourth one is URL. What site you want to visit. After that, we are just saying selenium.start so that it will start. The server will start. Okay, and now it is showing a red line over here because it doesn't know what Selenium is. Then what we need to do? We need to import that. How to import? Click on it and say import Selenium. It adds a statement called as import Selenium. Now we have ready. We have the Selenium server ready and we can write our code. So what could be the next code? The next code is selenium dot open. If you see yesterday's program, you have selenium dot open. And what is this slash? Someone got disconnected. So what is this class slash in between? So if you write bbc.co.uk, you are going to this place, this page. What if you add another slash in front of it? It goes to the same page, isn't it? Okay, and if you want to go to a particular page like gumtree.com, it's going to Gumtree page, and from here if you want to go to login page, you can just say slash login. It will go to the login page. In the same way, instead of clicking this link, you can just say slash login. In the same way, in selenium.open, you can give whatever you want. So I'll just say selenium.open and I'll give a /. Okay, now we can run this and see whether our browser is opening the website or not first. Right click, run as Java application. So now we'll wait for our browser to start. You can see in your Selenium log it moves actually. Preparing Firefox profile, launching Firefox. I think it's launching here. Yeah, it already launched BBC homepage. So for clarity, I'm closing all the Firefox browsers. Prakash, can you please mute your system? Right. So when I run this again, oops, I didn't close everything, sorry. So it's starting a new browser. You can see it will start 2 browsers. one is for the log and other is for the site. Here it will show all the commands which you are using. So we opened BBC successfully. Now what I want to do, I want to click on this link called as news. How do I know this is as link? I asked you to go through HTML, that's why. So how do we know something is link? So when I go for bbc.co.uk and I want to know whether this is link or not. So if I right click and go to inspect element, it is starting with a href and /a. So if you go to W3 schools and if you go to W3 schools and when you learned HTML, in HTML you have something called as links. You can see it starts with a href and the URL and /a. Okay, if you have practiced, you will know that it's a link. So I want to click on that particular link called as news in BBC. I want to click on news in the BBC. So what I will do is, in my code, I will write selenium dot, what I want to do, click. So click, and what to click, link is equal to, exactly you have to give what link is it. So if you go to the BBC website, capital NEWS, so just write capital NEWS in it. Okay, and run as Java application. Now you see it will open the browser, it will go to BBC and it already clicked on it and went to news website. Okay, from here you want to click on the weather thing. So what you can do, the same command selenium.click. You just need to know what you want to do and it will do it for you. Link is equal to weather. Right click, run as Java application. And it will go to the particular weather thing. So it went through all those things and came to weather. So I think it's clear now. So I'll stop the recording.